We're here because our voices need to be heard.
We are here because our voices need to be heard.
We want people to come out here, but it's really not just for showing up and chanting. It's about educating each other.
Understand, this is a lifetime commitment.
And so as we educate people, we also are charging them with action to change their personal lives and to continue contributing to the spread of messages like this one. You know, Black Lives Matter is not just 3 words that we say. That's what we believe. That's what we are pushing for every day of our lives, out here trying to just survive, honestly. And so the more people that we can get to understand why we say that and why it's not just about another black body in the streets, the more we say it, the more we can show them that this is truly a movement for us to survive as people and to be treated equally and equitably in this society.
You can be angry, but you got to be smart about how you use your voice. People are going to disagree with you, and when they disagree with you, you know, your reaction is what matters most. If you don't believe what somebody's saying, when you give them a reaction that doesn't deserve it, it gives them the power to continue. It fuels their flame. And now we have an argument. We have a confrontation that we don't need. So what we need to do when we speak is we got to understand each other and we got to listen. When we listen and we don't give reactions to things that don't deserve a reaction, that's when we can really start to understand people's viewpoints and grow as a community.
Again, this is step one. You know, people showing up is definitely, like, it's heartening and it's everything that we want. It's energizing, and we need to know that they're going to go further.
All of this starts by monitoring yourself.
And so that's the message we keep pushing, that when you leave here, you go back to your workplace, you go back to your family, you have to continue that conversation because I can't do it in that space.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Be the change that you want to be, that you want to see. This was, I think, the wake-up call that just a lot of people in the movement needed. So if anything, it's just fed up of injustice, is wanting to make a systemic change, and it's to bring unity with all people.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Everything is not black and white. Everything is not one-sided. Everything is not a race war. Everything is not to one-up one another. Because at the end of the day, we want to have peace, we want to have unity, we want to have love, and we want to end up having forgiveness as well.
It takes time. It might even be beyond my lifetime. So we're fighting the good fight for the futures and our future generations to come.
I see someone who is really dedicated to her work, wearing a very intense mask here, and eye protection, and a gown, and her white coat's in the background. And so this is not a glamorous picture. This is a picture of someone who's working hard. I also see, you know, a face and have to think about how do I, you know, accurately depict this. I'm a hobby artist, but really what is so striking about this image of Abby is this intense mask. This is the front line of the COVID response, everyone. First and foremost, I'm a physician and a mom and a wife, I guess. You know, I'm still a charcoal or pastel and paper person. I'm a full-time infectious disease provider at Denver Public Health. Yeah, I just kind of start sketching it out and making lots of little adjustments as we go. So this is Abby Laura, and she is a pulmonologist at CU Denver. So I am on the front lines and supporting my colleagues. And in my free time, I like to draw and paint. When I saw the New Yorker cover with the woman physician in her full PPE, and she was just FaceTiming with her husband and kids to say goodnight to them, it just reminded me of my own experience, and I felt like that's really cool. They're showing a woman and they're showing a family because, you know, doctors and nurses and, you know, technicians, we all have families. And then there was another really cool cover of a black man who was in his scrubs, and I just noticed that there weren't that many women of color being depicted as healthcare heroes, people who I don't think the society has really recognized and appreciated enough.
I was blown away when I was asked to deliver a selfie of me working on the front lines with respirators and masks and ways to protect ourselves in times of COVID. And that was a specific ask for women physicians and women physicians of color.
Called Women of Color on the Front Lines, and it's highlighting women physicians, but also we want to move into all healthcare providers who are Black, Indigenous, or women of color, and who are on the front lines of the COVID epidemic in healthcare.
You know, there are women in medicine, there are people of color in medicine, but to dial down into being a woman physician of color in medicine in these times, that's a very special place to feel like you fit. And to then feel like, okay, oh great, this is someplace I fit. I never realized it was a thing. And then have someone say, oh no, this is a thing and we want a selfie of you doing your thing. And then to have it turn out like this is pretty amazing.
I just like the way it kind of shows that we're helping each other toward a common goal and working as a team, and that's really what healthcare is it's nothing without teamwork. And I think when George Floyd was murdered, it took on a new significance. It just took on a new meaning of how important it is to really recognize all of the work that we're all doing on the front lines, and women of color as well, women who are often discriminated against because of not only gender but also race or ethnicity. So I really felt like we have a duty to honor all of these women who are working so hard and really making themselves vulnerable for all of us.
I also realized that I checked all of those boxes, which is a very uncommon experience for me, especially being a Black female physician in Colorado, where I've been for over 20 years now. And so it appealed to me.
Black Lives Matter, and Black lives are saving all of our lives. They're in the ICU, they're delivering babies, they're in the emergency department, they're in the clinic. So really, yes, there are horrible things happening right now, and we need to talk about those things and we need to fix them. But we also need to recognize that, women of color are also heroes right now, and just really honor their sacrifice and their hard work and how far they've come and how much they contribute to making our whole society healthier. Pretty intense mask on. I feel like a responsibility in this time of renewed interest in racial and social justice to play a part, and I feel a responsibility to not only do this project and honor women of color, but also to continue to educate myself and to advocate in other ways as well.
And the fact that it strikes me as unique and special is unique and special, because I don't think that that women physicians of color are portrayed in any meaningful fashion, and so for this to be being done in this particular medium and is touching.
If you're a white person and you care about racial justice, which I hope many people do, we can't settle for what we have done or how we feel, but we need to keep working hard and learning and reading and reaching out and doing more and more and more. So I feel like that's really everyone's responsibility.
We had a very tragic incident today here at the King Soopers. There was loss of life. We have multiple people who were killed in this incident. I'm sorry to have to report that one of them was a Boulder police officer.
Boulder's a great place to live. It's shocking that these kind of things happen in your neighborhood. I mean, it's always somebody's neighborhood. It's always someone's family's. It's been my groceries for the last 20 years. It's a great neighborhood. We all wear our masks. I mean, it's just a great neighborhood. Everybody helps each other and supports each other. It's a very good community.
This is a tragedy and a nightmare for Boulder County.
It affects everybody. Oh, it's just a shocking thing. You just don't know when and what and where and how. And
our hearts are broken over this senseless act of violence.
I just want to be a part of the procession and honor all those that do so much to protect us all. It's a sad day for everybody. It's so painful, and the families, and for all those workers that have to walk back into that building, and the neighbors that have to go back in there. It's just and all these policemen and the firemen and all the first responders, it's just a very hard time for them. I just hate to find out who's the people that died, because they're probably people I know or my neighbors know. I mean, it's just a sad day. There to be a hero and to help people and to prevent other people from dying. It's just a shocking day for so many people. You know, it's just like, what's next? You know, you just hope peace can come out of the picture somewhere.
So we are a full-service coffee shop and restaurant.
Making coffee.
Jack's Bar and Grill and Steamer's Coffee House.
I'm just rinsing dishes.
We are proud to say that we're Arvada's friendliest bar and grill.
I think in 14 years.
We employ adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
I like to work and earn money.
Our mission is to prove that you can run a successful and sustainable business while employing people with disabilities.
Can you scoop some of those in there?
We employ people who have a variety of disabilities, from autism to Down syndrome to cerebral palsy. A few of our employees have seizure disorders that impact their daily lives, and they can still be really successful here working in a commercial kitchen. Probably pre-pandemic employed about 60 people, and half of those have a disability.
So people are fun, the people makes you laugh and everything. They dance, you know, joking around.
What we found was a lot of our employees with disabilities, all of their programs stopped almost overnight. And we are so important to their lives. And so continuing to be able to employ people while the world around them is full of so much unknown is really important to us and to them.
Made some candy jalapenos and green chili.
Our commitment this time was to keep on as many staff.
Cool, you do that and I'll do this part.
Particularly those with disabilities, as we could. As a restaurant, overnight we had to figure out how to pivot because of COVID-19.
Jamming is so much fun.
All of our jams are made in small batches. Everything is made right here in Arvada.
Make some jelly.
Jam has been really important, particularly right now when we can't have indoor dining. Obviously that minimizes the amount of people that come into the restaurant every day. And so jam is another way that we can generate revenue and continue to employ people with disabilities.
I like to jam with other people.
I think Krista is a great example of what we do here. Krista has autism, and for her that looks like benefiting from structure and routine. She likes to know what she's going to do every day when she comes in. She likes things to be done in the same way. And so we immediately looked at like what her skills were and realized that her skill set matches perfectly with labeling those jars of jam.
The top label
says made with love. We try to live that out in everything that we do. Top of every jar of jam has a round label on it that's signed by the person who made that batch of jam. So you know when you're opening your jar of jam that Krista was responsible for making that. And we feel like it brings the customer in a little bit more and involves them in that experience. And she's just one example of what we do with all of our employees, disability or not. We find what people are good at, help them get even better. It's really refreshing to me to come in every day and know that if I make a mistake, it's okay. And if somebody else makes a mistake, it's okay. And we're going to learn and grow and do together.
We are looking at a decent drive on I-25, a little sluggish still southbound, I-70 down to Spear.
And welcome to a very windy traffic light show. Hey, yeah, we're just out here. Morning, Denver. Doing a little juggling at the traffic light, having some fun. Making some people smile and spreading the circus. Come on down, step right up. We got some fun ahead of you, folks. Traffic in Denver is not the best.
Traffic's horrible.
When you come up here and you've had a rough day and then you see someone out there juggling, having a good time, trying to help you have a good time, it just...
I don't know what to make of it, but he's doing a great job.
During especially COVID, we all started last summer.
People say how much they appreciate the hustle, respect what we're doing. Green light!
People were a little more starved for entertainment and stimulus, I feel like, in general.
It's crazy.
I'm not currently insured, but that's gonna change soon.
Watch out, watch out!
Getting your daily serotonin and dopamine. You know, you get out here and like, you're making people smile, you're kind of maybe like, you know, getting a little adrenaline rush at the same time, you're in the street.
Look, Ma, I made it on TV. Here we go, real high for the Mile High City.
Oh, it brings a smile to my face.
I think having a moment of levity on your day, when you have 60 seconds to sit there and think about something else than whatever might be, stressing you out, it helps people to kind of unwind or, let loose, kind of have a release. Case in point.
Brings people a lot of joy, puts a little money in your pocket.
I love that they're working at it.
Like the show, let me know.
The smiles are the best form of payment, but the dollars are always nice as well. Hey, right there, Chris, have a good day, stay safe.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
What did it do to your day?
I mean, it made it better, just seeing someone else happy.
Thank you, Denver!
Extremely exciting and quite emotional for all this means in history, I really think.
It is my first time voting in an election ever, and I'm 18 years old, and I voted for Biden, and I am so proud to be on the right side of history today.
People are just genuinely happy. It's throughout all this pandemic and political nonsense. I think people are just happy to see something go right for a change.
We were like alternating between jumping up and down and tears this morning just because it was like such a huge relief. It's like a huge weight coming off of one's shoulders.
I definitely wanted to look back on this and say that we got to be here and experience this part of history and celebrate with everyone around the Capitol for Colorado.
Well, this means the world to us because we really have been having a terrible time the last few months with everything going on in the world, and it just gives us a glimmer of hope that things are going to change for the better soon.
Robert Garcia Jr., God bless you. Lewis Johnson Jr., God bless you. Gerald Cohagen, God bless you. So the ceremony to recognize each of our veterans who served is important, extremely important to recognize them on behalf of their family, and it's also important to teach the next generation the importance of recognizing our veterans. John B. Wise, God bless you.
Richard B. Kelly, Lance Corporal, U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. Loving husband, Daddy, and Papa.
Well, Wreaths Across America is an important event every year to recognize all the veterans who served in the military and for the United States. And the goal is to lay a wreath at the headstone of every veteran.
John Clark Jr., U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service.
This year we have 10,872 wreaths to lay.
For somebody to place a wreath on his grave and say his name, that keeps his memory alive. Harry Smith, God bless you. It's not just a wreath. The wreath is a symbol of Christmas. Dane Wano, God bless you. But it's the laying of the wreath is a symbolic of all of us recognizing their service and have an appreciation for their service. Zignu Jimmy Kania, God bless you.
This is a way that we can honor our fallen heroes and their families that have given up everything.
For me, it's important personally because I've had several family members serve in the military, to include my son, who unfortunately was killed in action in May of 2013. And as a Gold Star father whose son was killed in action, one of the most important aspects is to know that your son, my son's sacrifice, will never be forgotten. So for me, when I lay a wreath, I look at the name, their service, and I step back and say their name, because it's important that none of them ever be forgotten. Rhoda, Earl, God bless you.
I moved to US almost 5 years ago from Ukraine. Something not real, because the chance to win a lottery just really low. Was to me like a miracle, because the situation back in my home country was really horrible, and we used to starving back in my home country. Here in US, you can get everything just to work hard.
So before I won this lottery, the situation back in my home country was so horrible that I even thought about killing myself, you know. We had nothing. I had nothing to, I couldn't buy even food at the store. So I sold her bicycle to buy noodles and things like that, you know. It was really horrible. You didn't think about underwear, socks, t-shirts, no, nothing. You think about, how can I feed my daughter tonight? It's really difficult to compare, because, you know, it's like compare paradise and hell, probably like that. Like you have to fight. That's the feeling every day. Never give up, never give up. Probably my job, that's the way to say thank you, US, for giving me this chance. Here in US, you can be wherever you want to be. I'm really strong inside. That's why, because it's part of the culture, probably mentality. You have to fight every single day to survive back in my home country.
I'm gonna let them know that you're trying to post a bond, okay? I do work at the Arapahoe County Sheriff Department, the jail. It was my kind of dream to be a deputy, because in this way I can help people. When I put my uniform on, I'm an absolutely different person. I do feel that I'm a soldier. That's my job, and I just have to take care about everything. It's like really cool chance, because nobody knows who you are, and you can start your life over. I cannot judge, and I don't want to judge. I don't want to know what you did. I'm here to help you. That's it. If I can make your day better, I'm happy. You cannot predict your next day. Here, you can feel yourself like free, because you know that if you will work hard, you will have everything you want. I do have everything because of this job. This job gave me everything what I got right now. And it was my way to say thank you. Thank you, US government, to give me this chance. Then I moved to US, and now I can have everything I want and everything I wish. If I made it, if I did it, so everyone can. I'm happy that I'm here. I can help my family, I can help my friends, I can send money, I can send wherever they need, because it's easier to me to help them. And I'm happy that my daughter now shouldn't think about food and, you know, like toys and things like that. I want to think about her future. I don't care about my future, but I want to think about my daughter's future. That's why I do my job. You know, I want to say thank you that I can do what I do right now.
We're technically in Evergreen, but a good bit north at about 8,500 feet of elevation, near the base of Mount Evans.
So
now you live over by the mailboxes. And where do you live?
I live next to old Elle's house, you know, where Sally lives, and then the cabin and the log house, and then we're the gray house.
But these cabins were all part of an effort back in the 1930s. Back in the time of the Depression, actually, there was an effort done by the government to help people get jobs called the Civilian Conservation Corps. So it's kind of relevant to now, right? Finally, one day I was looking at it and I was like, oh, it wants to be a library.
My daughter loves coming here. All sorts of Barbies.
I bought this property about 1.5 years ago, and it was kind of just a falling apart little cabin. But I had a vision for it that it could be something that could help tie the community together, because we're all great neighbors up here, but we needed some place to help us gather. So I renovated it, worked on it, restored it, and turned it into a library.
It's really old. I know, but that's the best kind.
So that neighbors could come and they could put their books in there and share them with our other neighbors, and we could talk about the books that we shared and gather during the winters and have a place to talk.
Every time we come in, there's something new and different.
Yeah, I know.
We need to take lemons when we get them and make lemonade. And that may sound cliche and, you know, Pollyanna-ish, and if it does, you know, I don't care. Because I think when it all comes down to it, our happiness and joy is based on how well we can do that, how well we can take the lemons and make lemonade.
When COVID hit and the libraries closed and the kids up here had nowhere to go and everyone was trying to figure out how to keep a sense of community in spite of having to social distance.
We have this wonderful library here, this little library, the free library for the neighborhood. And Mary, who started the library, has been kind enough and gracious enough to let me feature my book in here.
It may only be about 12 foot by 8 foot, but it's big enough to hold the heart of our community.
What I've learned from this pandemic is that we all have to be very flexible and be willing to be fluid in our plans and our goals and expectations.
And I think it's just one more thing to help us all get to know each other and understand each other and share the things we love with each other as a neighborhood.
It's a lot about forgiveness, inspiration, grace, love, compassion.
It's almost like you can feel a spirit in the air, and it just makes us feel good that we're something to pull us all together in a time where everything's trying to push us apart.
As we all know, all of our lives shifted and changed.
We have our books and we have the things we love, and it's big enough to share them. And that's really what matters.